Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I'm assuming you're probably moving to Chicago soon, or maybe you just moved here, but you have some questions on what it's like to live in the city. I have tons of videos of answering your guys' questions on moving to Chicago, but I thought that this would be a fun one and just see what are the things that once people moved here, they were actually shocked by. So I posted a story up on my Instagram, which if you don't follow me, you're gonna need to head over there right now and follow me. But I asked you guys what were the things that surprised you the most when you first moved to the city. I have all of your responses, so I'm gonna be reading some of these off as we're going through and talking about them. Number one, the strongest theme throughout is parking. Your girl doesn't have a car, so I feel partially responsible as your Chicago Sherpa, but after doing extensive research on this, it is literally cheaper for us to not have a car. We live right in River North though, so this isn't the case for everyone, but living right in River North, it makes more sense for us to take the trains and Uber anytime we need to. However, you guys came in clutch and said all of the things that they should have known when it comes to parking. Okay, so this one is city parking stickers and tabs for your car. Still don't totally understand what I will need. Do you know you need city stickers? And I'm pretty sure you can get them at any of those like cash your checks here sort of places. And I think a city sticker is like $75 for the year, but I might totally be making that up. Traffic and ongoing highway road work, that is no joke. Like the traffic in the city can get to be pretty crazy. It's no like LA status, but if you're trying to go somewhere around 5 o'clock, avoid being in a car as much as humanly possible. Plus the freeways, I don't care what time of day it is, but it's been under construction the entire time I've been here, and I'm pretty sure it's been under construction for like everyone's entire lives, and it's just chaos out there. Also, drivers in the city are crazy. Like, coming from Arizona, there's crazy people in Arizona. Chicago drivers, next level. They just do not care and will do whatever they want. This one says, they really don't play when it comes to parking tickets. I don't know a single person in the city who has not gotten a parking ticket. And that like adds to the expenses of why it makes sense for me to Uber or take the train versus park. Everyone gets parking tickets. Everyone gets towed. Everyone I know has had to go pick up their car from an impound lot at some point. Like, it's ridiculous. Then the last one is street cleaning. I know that a lot of people get tickets for those two, or they'll get towed, because on certain days, some streets, even when there is free street parking, they do street cleaning. Or when it snows, this happens too. You have to be like fully aware of all of the rules around every parking spot you're in, because if Chicago has an opportunity to give you a ticket and make money off of your mistake, they're going to do it. All right, we're gonna kind of stick on the theme of like transit or like moving around the city. So number one was the pedway. This is a really good one, and I probably don't talk about it in my videos nearly as much as I should, but the pedway is a super cool thing in the city where underground through Lakeshore East into the Loop, there is this underground pedway. So it's amazing in winter because you can walk while being fully underground. You don't have to be outside in the snow or the rain or like whatever is going on that day. It connects to some of the trains. There's like shops and restaurants down there. People who live in Lakeshore East especially love the pedway because it's really easy for them to be able to get around underground. This other person also said the underground walkways that connect, learned about them right before I moved away. That's a bummer. Look up the pedway, figure out where it is. If you're right downtown, great. Someone said more confidence about using the train. I am yet to feel comfortable with it. I have a whole video on this. I have a video that is really well done that I shot with my friend Shamie all about using the CTA. So if you're even considering moving to Chicago or even visiting Chicago, you need to be watching that video because it explains everything that you need to know about the CTA, which is the Chicago Transit Authority. That video is really helpful, and honestly, once you understand the trains, they are very, very easy. It is just a little bit of a learning curve figuring out how they work. This person said how little I actually ride the train because the bus is faster and gets you closer to your destination. Could possibly be true, but not always. Depends where you're going. Like, I head up to Lincoln Park or Lakeview or Chinatown or like different places like that a lot, and when they're further away, definitely the train is going to be much faster. But if you're looking to stay within like the bordering neighborhoods, the bus might be faster as well. Buses also get stuck in traffic, so that can play a big part depending on what time of day it is. I don't know, I find the train really fun. I take buses all the time. They're great. No qualms against buses whatsoever, but the train makes me feel like a cool city girl, and the bus is just like transit. I don't know. Someone said that people just change cars on the L while it's moving. This is true. When you're riding the train, people will walk like just up and down the cars. They're probably selling drugs, but they're walking like up and down the cars. They don't bother me. I just ignore everybody. But it is always surprising when one of those like metal doors like swings open and you can hear the loudness of the train from outside. All right, next one we're gonna get into is like the dating / friend scene in the city. Someone said how the dating scene practically stops in winter, and not something that I have personal experience with. I moved here with my fiance. I have never needed to date in Chicago. However, I will say this is something I kind of hear time and time again. I've met lots of friends who have met their significant others here, but I don't know if there's somewhere with like a good dating scene. Like that would be completely over my head. But rumor has it Chicago's really sucks. When it comes to friends, let's just rattle off some comments. Making friends is freaking hard. Also, it was a transition getting used to life without a car. Also, I'm a homebody and an introvert. It's hard to make friends. I only lasted 6 months. Friends and dating was the worst ever. It's just a reoccurring theme. My 2 cents when it comes to the friend thing, because I moved here and did not know a single person. Granted, I am a bit of an extrovert. I don't mind putting myself out there. However, what I did when I first moved here was I literally told anyone that I ever came in contact with that I was new to the city and was looking to make friends. I used Bumble BFF a ton. I have lots of videos. I feel like I've talked about this a lot, but like that really helped me start getting the ball rolling of making friends. And like 2 of my best friends I met because of Bumble BFF. Join like sports leagues. There's also like trivia leagues, anything like that. Like anything to kind of get yourself out and around other people, I think really helps. If you are willing to put yourself out there, like Chicago will pour back into you and you will make friends. I totally understand. Like some people are introverts and that's really hard for you. Take those first steps to get the ball rolling. But I promise it's worth it. And people are really nice here. Like it really is a nice city. People talk about how like people in New York are rude, or in Seattle, I think they call it the Seattle freeze, where like people don't want to talk to each other. Here in Chicago, I swear like the people are just friendly and are willing to be friends and invite other people in because I don't know, maybe it's a Midwest thing. Keep trying, put yourself out there. I believe in you. Also, I do meetups. I am doing one this month. I will put the link in the description box if there are still tickets available. And it's like 50 people and every single person in that room is basically saying like, hi, I'm looking to make friends. And the friendships that people have developed from those stinking meetups, it warms my little heart. I highly recommend come to one of those or look for other things like that, because I do think there are lots of like events and opportunities to meet other people too. Someone just straight up said the tax. Yeah, the Illinois/Chicago tax is absolutely no joke. There's 10% sales tax. So like anything you're buying, 10% more than what that ticket on it says. I think they took away the grocery store tax, so which is great. But just like taxes, income tax, it's absurd. Everything's absurd. But honestly, that's not enough to drive me away. This one says that the entire city shuts down rallies around the marathon I'm running this year because of that. That's so freaking cool. I believe in you. Chicago loves its events. The same person also said, and note that the Air and Water Show happens every year and it's loud in all capitals. There is some cool stuff that happens in the city. The marathon, the Air and Water Show, St. Patty's, Lollapalooza, like there's lots of these big events and the city just like rallies around that. I think the marathon is an especially big one just because like it's such a positive thing for literally everybody, unless you're trying to drive somewhere, then it's a very negative thing. But outside of that, you get to watch people like fulfill goals and dreams and like work hard at something. The city absolutely just lives for it. The Air and Water Show, so loud. It sounds like bombs are being dropped in the city. Like it's like ridiculous. And these planes drive like in the city. It is absolute craziness. I love that Chicago has like these ridiculously cool events. Just moved here, so many dogs. I love it, makes me want one. Chicago is a wildly dog-friendly city. Every building is pet-friendly. Like people are always worried about that when I'm helping them find apartments. If you didn't know, I am a broker with Compass and I can help you find your dream apartment. Jotform link is in the description. Every apartment building is dog-friendly, and then every single patio in summer is dog-friendly. So when you're walking down the street and seeing people eat outside, there's always dogs and I love it. There's tons of dog parks in the city. Just about every single park is dog-friendly, even if it's not a dog park, with the exception of Millennium Park, which is lame. The lakefront trail, so many dogs. Riverwalk, so many dogs. Like it's so cool. Speaking of the lake and the river, this one said how big the lake is and that the river flows through downtown. Also, the summer is truly 100. Lake and river, I love it. I love living off the water. The lake is the freaking ocean. I came from California. I lived decently near the ocean my whole entire life. This is an ocean. It's huge. And I had no idea when I moved to Chicago, just like how truly ridiculous it was. When I rode a divvy bike up the lakefront trail for the first time, I was just like, what is this? Like, it's insane. It's beautiful. There's sandy beaches. Like, I love it so much. And the river, it's just so freaking cool. When it gets to be like really, really, really cold and the river freezes, when they dye the river green for St. Patrick's Day, having the water, I think, is just something that makes it really top notch. The humidity in summer, everyone was like, oh, the snow. What about the boob sweat? It's true. I feel like the humidity is not that bad all the time, but there are some days where it's hot. Like, I've never lived somewhere where the seasons are so dramatic. We literally get like 1 degree weather, and then we'll have like 100-degree weather with full humidity. Not that often though. It's really not that often. Usually the summer weather is like fine. But yeah, that's not a joke. That is no joke. Okay, couple about restaurants. Not many soul food restaurants. That's true. There are some really good ones, but there's not like a ton of them like you'd probably see in other, like maybe more southern cities. Sweet tea just doesn't exist. It's just tea. Yeah, again, we're just not in the South. Sweet tea is a southern thing, right? Soul food's a southern thing. Restaurant culture. Coming from a place without much of a food scene, I don't know much. Well, that's just a great excuse to get out and explore it because the food scene here is the best. And go on a new friend date and go to a restaurant. Another comment just said, the best food scene. Have to agree. There are BYOB bars and restaurants, unheard of in Florida. This is true. Bars, maybe. I can't think of a BYOB bar. BYOB restaurants though, super common. There are lots of BYOB restaurants, which is really nice and really fun. There's also bars where you can bring in your own food because they don't serve food. So like you can be at a bar having drinks and then order a pizza from down the street and have it delivered there. There's just a lot of options like that. Very fun, much more cost effective. I used to do that like all the time. We'd go to BYOB places because it was just so much cheaper than us going somewhere and getting drinks. I feel like you see those a lot in the neighborhoods, but there are some downtown too. That it gets dark at 4 p.m. during daylight savings. I didn't realize it's earlier than Florida. Yeah, so the further north you get, the more daylight savings affects you. So if you're in like Florida, Arizona, Texas, you'll notice a daylight savings shift, but it's not that drastic. When you're as far north as Chicago is, in winter, the sun sets at 4 p.m. In summer, the sun sets at like 8:30, 9 p.m. It changes quite a bit. There is part of me where like, I really enjoy the change. I enjoy the change of the seasons too. And so I hate the dark days, but I love having something to look forward to as the days start getting light again. That it really doesn't snow that much. Coming from my experience in Northwest Pennsylvania, it's not that crazy. I literally don't own like proper snow boots. I know people always say like if I lived in a further out neighborhood where they don't like salt and plow as much, I would need to. We get snow, but it doesn't stick. I think that's the thing. Like we don't get like big piles up of snow like you see in like Buffalo, New York and stuff. It snows, but it never really sticks that long. There is so much life in the city outside of downtown. So true. This other one says, I know there's a ton of neighborhoods here, but I feel like I visit the same 5. I highly recommend trying to get out and explore as many neighborhoods as possible. It's like this bittersweet thing about Chicago is I literally want to live in every single neighborhood and I don't have enough time. And then last 2 comments I want to end on. This made me laugh, especially because they were just like right on top of each other. But this one says, it's not scary or unsafe like people think. And the next person said, how scary it can be sometimes. People will be weird, gotta ignore them and carry pepper spray. Chicago has such a reputation. And I get that question all the time when I have clients, oh my God, their parents freaking out. I feel very comfortable here. And I think it's probably because I grew up in a big city. I grew up in San Francisco or like close enough to. Even the person who said it's scarier, like the point of just ignore them. As long as you're not getting in someone else's problem, it's not really your problem. I love weird people watching. I love when things go down around me. I think it's exciting and fun. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight on some things that maybe you hadn't thought about before. If you have any questions, as always, comment them down below. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't already. I have so many videos about Chicago. It is ridiculous. Plus, follow me over on Instagram because there's a ton more Chicago content over there. Thank you so much for watching. Ooh, and comment down below and let me know which one was the most surprising to you. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I just dropped my phone.
I got a feeling you could be my muse. I hear strange when I